Hi everybody, and welcome to another episode of Cap at Home. My name's Miss Allie, and today we are going to be making these awesome, super fun paper bag puppets. And so you can wear them, you can actually use them, create your fun little puppet monster. So all you need are some basic paper bags, so any of those paper lunch bags that you might have on hand getting ready for school. I have some right here. You're also going to need some paper, so construction paper, cardstock. I have a bunch of scraps here, so I'll be using those today. And then some crayons, colored pencils, markers, anything that you want to decorate with. You can even paint it. The only thing is, if you paint it, I recommend having two paper bags, so to put one inside the other so it doesn't soak through. And then also some scissors and a glue stick. And so that's what we're going to need today to make our fun monster paper bag puppets. So let's get started. The first thing that we need to do is actually take our lunch bag and turn it upside down so that the flap that opens on the bottom is actually on the top. So if it's facing you, this flap should be out. So this is actually the head or the face of our monster, and this is the body. So what we want to do first is actually decorate the body. So you can do this a couple different ways. If you see on my monster, I have some polka dots, I have some stuff drawn on there, and cut out paper. You can do that. You can draw on it, you can paint, you could do different designs, so I'll show you a couple different things. So I actually like using crayons directly on the paper because I think it makes some really cool colors. So I have my handy dandy cup of crayons here, and I'm always a fan of using broken crayons because you can use them on the side. You can get kind of interesting textures. So I'm actually going to cover this top part where my head is, this kind of indigo blue. And again, you can do this with any material that you have to. You could even cover your whole thing with paper first if you wanted, if you didn't want to have the brown color. I kind of like the brown color, but that's totally up to you. Alright, so I'm going to keep this as the top. Alright, so this is the base, right? So I just covered that in blue. And then I might do some polka dots and stripes, and I'll show you what I mean. So maybe I'll take my crayons and add some like polka dot shapes. Or you could add more than one shape. Let's say you want to do some circles for polka dots. Maybe you want to add some stars, some swirlies. Use as many colors as you can. So this is your monster. So your monster could be silly, it could be funny, it could be scary monster. So think about what you want your monster to be, and then think about what you want to put on your monster. So maybe if you want to have a silly or fun monster, kind of like I'm making right now, I'm gonna add some kind of funny things to it. I'm trying to find the color that I want. Maybe I'm going to add some fun, bright colors. But if you want a scary monster, maybe you use dark colors or maybe you use red, like something that gives off more of a scary vibe. And again, I'm just kind of coloring, filling the space in, using different colors. And so what you're going to want to do is actually fill in both sides. So for the purpose of this video, I'm just going to do the front side, but you would want to do the back too. So let's say this is how I want to start with my puppet. So what I need to do now is I like to add some cut out things on top. So on my monster here, I have some cut out circles. You could also do some cut out stripes. So this is a great use for scrap paper. So if you've been making Cap at Home projects with us, then you probably have a bunch of scrap paper like I do here. So I might take a couple colors and I might draw out. Maybe I'll take my pencil, and you could draw out some shapes if you wanted to cut them out. I'm going to actually draw out a zigzag line. And this is what I'm going to cut out, and I'm going to stack them all on top of each other, so I only have to cut it out once. So I'm going to add some like zigzag stripes to my monster. Alright, I'm going to do it like this. So you could do anything. You don't have to add paper on it, but I think it's kind of cool because it adds like another layer. So you could do stripes, you could do dots, you could add some stars. This is also a good time if you have any extra things like glitter or stickers that you want to add. Again, this is your crazy fun puppet monster. And you could even do, you could make a couple puppet monsters, and you could do one that's like different colors, one like, maybe one is all sparkly, maybe one's scary, one's silly, totally up to you. So I have some kind of these strips over here. So I want to go ahead and add these on top. So I'm going to take my glue stick, and I'm going to glue the back of my triangle, kind of zigzag stripes. And if it comes off a little bit, that's okay. So sometimes if that keeps happening, it might be a little too thin. So you can use your other pieces that might be a little bit thicker. That's better. And I'm just adding some glue on the back. And I'm going to add a few stripes on here. So, and I know that it's not totally going to fit. So I have this extra piece on the side. And that's cool because I can just take my scissors, cut that right off on the side. And you can do that on both sides to make sure that it's the same length. And if you want to make sure that it's glued down again, you could go ahead and go over with your glue stick just to make sure that everything is sticking down really good. And then you can add another color. You can also just glue right on the bag if you want. So both of them will work. And I kind of like to do this on top of my crayon, because then it's like I have a drawing and then I have this other layer, and I think that's kind of cool. Again, I'm just cutting off excess, pushing that away, making sure it's totally glued down. Then maybe I'll do these the other direction. And if you don't have a glue stick, you can use Elmer's glue, or you can even tape them down too. There's all sorts of ways to go about this. Alright, so I have some kind of fun stripes, and I have a drawing on the bottom. So I think that kind of looks cool. So the next thing that we want to do, so you could even, before I even move on, you could even take some markers and add some more details on top of your stripes if you wanted. Really make, this is your cool puppet monster. It can be however you want it to look. You can add more designs, you can add more colors, do whatever you think is going to make it the coolest puppet that you can make. So really spend some time on your designs. So like I started to do here, you could add some more marker lines in there. Anything that you want. So the next thing that we want to do is we have to put the mouth in of our puppet, so this under part. So what I recommend doing is taking like a scrap piece of paper. What you're going to want to do is glue, fold it in half. First you want to fold your paper in half, make sure you have a really good fold. Okay, so I have square, folded, now it's kind of a rectangle. You want to glue one side at a time. Add my glue. And this is actually going to go inside your puppet. This is going to kind of create the mouth. So this flap, I'm kind of putting it inside there. And so this kind of creates like the inside of your mouth. And so that's okay if it hangs off a little bit like this. You can either trim that off or you can have it hanging off like that. That's totally up to you. And then you can glue the other side. And the reason that I do one side at a time is so that you can get it into the place that you want it to go. I want to make sure it's in there really good. And so I always kind of like having it a little bit extended because it makes it easier to put our fun teeth on there. So this is our mouth. And so if it's hanging off a little on the sides, you could always trim that up too. Just use your scissors. And I'm just trimming the side here. And I'm going to add a little extra glue right here on the bottom here. So make sure it sticks. So we have the beginning of our monster. All right. So now we want to add some facial features. So this is the really fun part. So we want to add an eye, some horns, some teeth, tongue, any of those things. So again, this is a good time to use scrap paper. So let's say we want to make the monster eyes. So we can make eyes. We can make 1 eye, 2 eyes, 3 eyes. You could make a bunch of eyes. That's totally up to you. So I might make a series of 3 eyes. So do 1. Here, I'll make this a different color so you can see. So maybe I'll do 1 big one and 2 smaller ones. You can make them really big, you can make them really small, it's totally up to you. You can make it like a spider and have like 12 eyes. So let's say I wanted my eye to be like that. That'll go there. And I have some 2 smaller ones, but if I want them to be the same size, we can always take our paper, fold it in half, cut out a circle. You don't have to draw it out first if you don't want to. I was just showing you what I meant. And we can have 2 smaller circles. So what that'll look like, well, first we want to make sure we also add the black part of our monster eye. So that would be like the inside of the eye, the pupil. I have some black scrap paper over here, and so I'm just going to cut off a little piece and do the same thing. I'm going to cut out a slightly smaller circle. So this is 1 eye, that's my big eye. And then I'll do 2 smaller circles to go into my smaller eyes. And again, if you want to draw everything out first, that's totally cool. I recommend drawing out with pencil first. So I have 2 smaller eyes that are kind of like this. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those black dots in the middle. And none of my circles are perfect, and that is totally okay. They don't have to be. All right, so I have my eyes, and now I want to glue them on the front of my monster, because this is the front, this is my face. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those on. And again, this is kind of the fun part. You can make them whatever size, shape, any colors that you want, as many as you want. All right. Here are my 3 eyes for my puppet, so that's kind of fun. So now what we would want to do is add some more features. So that might include, maybe we want some eyelashes or big bushy eyebrows. So I'm going to show you kind of a cool way to make some eyelashes. So again, if you want black paper, or it can be any color that you want. So I think we should go with some funky blue eyelashes. So a really easy way to do this is just take a strip of paper, and you know how eyelashes go above the eye. So here's my strip of paper. I'm kind of setting it on my eye. I didn't glue the top down all the way. See, I can pull that up. And that's good, because if I place my paper right underneath that, I can trace that line. And I know that this line, let me trace that over so you can actually see the line that I'm talking about. So this line was traced right there. So this is really cool because this is where I can start making my eyelashes. So I might round this side off. Okay. All right. So now all you got to do is make little cuts that go up to that line. So it's sort of like making fringe. So just make a few little cuts, and you can make them as wide or as long as you want them. If you want them to be shorter, you can just cut the paper down a little bit more, like this. So I have some fringe going on. So, and you can bend them a little bit, like that. But now, because I already have this part, it's going to make it way easier to glue on there. So we can glue the bottom of the paper, of your paper bag, glue that piece on there, and then we can glue the top of our eyelashes where that part is, just like that. And you can bend the fringe a little bit, so now we kind of have some funky eyelashes. And you can make those as many colors as you want, and you could add eyelashes here or just on your big eye, or depending on how many eyes you do, that's totally up to you. So another thing you might want to add are some horns or some ears. So you can add those however you want them to go. So again, I might pick a couple different colors. I kind of like to use the colors that I used for in my monster. So maybe I'll make, again, the easy way to make two things of the same shape. Do it. Fold your paper in half. And cut out two of them at the same time. So let's say I have the basis of my ears. Okay, I have the basis of my ears. I might add two little triangles on the inside of there. Okay, and so then after that, I'm going to show you a little bit more close up. Okay, so after that we have this portion right here. So I have these ears, and I might want to add some orange triangles on there, so I could go ahead and glue those on there. And I'm just going to go ahead and do that. And again, you can use any kind of scraps, any kind of colors that you have. So this way I kind of have some cool ears, and I can glue them on top here. So again, I might just want to glue the bottom of my ear and glue it right on top here. And I'm going to do that with the same one with the other one. Okay, just like that. And we just have a couple more steps. So another thing we want to do is add some funky teeth. We want to add some funky teeth going on here. So again, let's take some scrap paper. If you have scrap white paper, then this is a good time to add some, if you want to draw out your teeth first, or if you want to just go ahead and cut some triangles. But this is where you would want to think, if you have a scary monster, maybe you'd want some really sharp teeth. If you want a funny monster, maybe you want some funny rectangle, really large teeth. Totally up to you. So I might cut out a couple triangles here. And you can do them different sizes too. That's always kind of fun. All right, so I have a couple here. couple little teeth, and I can add them. I can add them on here. So this is where our little flap from our mouth comes in handy. I can glue along the inside of here. It's okay if you bend your monster a little bit. It's paper. It's totally flexible. So I'm just putting some glue down there, and I'm going to take a couple of my triangle white pieces, and I'm going to glue them on there. And you can add just triangles on, or just teeth on the top if you want, or if you want to add them on the bottom too, that's up to you. Or you could add just a few, or you could add a lot. Again, this is your kind of crazy fun monster. So I have a couple teeth. I've added some teeth there. And I always like to add a tongue because I think they're fun. So maybe I'd choose a different color. Let's do, out of my crazy colors, I kind of like this purple. So what I might want to do is cut a thinner strip. Kind of like this. And then make the end the shape that you want, if you want a curved tongue or a pointy tongue. And then what I want to do is, if you've done these before with me, you know that I love to roll paper and make some funny designs. So I'm going to take my pencil, I'm rolling my paper over this. So it gives my tongue sort of this curled up feeling. I'm going to glue the very end of it. I'm going to glue the end of my monster, or my tongue, and I'm going to put it in the middle of the mouth. So then it looks like this. So I have a tongue that's kind of funny, sticking out like that. Alright, so again, like I said, you can add more teeth if you want. You have your ears, you could add horns, you could add more eyes. And the last thing that we want to do is add some fun little arms like I have in my example here. So I have some funky little arms. So what I'd want to do is, again, take some paper strips. You might have some scraps left over if you've made projects with me before. So I have two right here, and all I'm going to do is accordion fold them. So again, remember that's folding the paper back and forth. That's all I'm doing, just folding it back and forth, kind of crunching it together. It goes like that. Then, where your paper bag is open like that, we can glue them so they kind of stick out. So that way when you put your hand in the middle, your arms will be kind of like coming off. And you can have them the same color or different colors. I just made my arms two different colors. But I made them both colors that were already in my monster, so it was kind of like making it more cohesive. Kind of like that. So you could add little hands on there if you wanted. That's totally up to you. But when it gets to this point, you're pretty much done with your monster. You can keep adding as many details as you want and make it your own. But then you can put your hand in the bottom, and that part where your mouth is helps to make it easier to open for your monster puppet. So you can make more than one, and you can name them, and you can put on a little puppet monster show. Let me see if I can get both of these on here. And you can play with your super cool monster puppets. So make sure you clean up before you start playing, but when you get to this point, you want to play around with your monster puppets. So that's how you make your paper bag monster puppets. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. And stay tuned for 1 and 2 p.m. today for more Cap at Home videos, as well as our Thursday videos. And if you want to check out any of the videos we've done before, make sure to check out our Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube channels. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you soon.